Welcome back into Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We've been watching these scenes today. A troubling story out of the United Kingdom, where we're hearing that 2 people were killed, 3 others seriously wounded after a car ramming and stabbing attack outside of a synagogue in what is described as the holiest day of the Jewish year, Yom Kippur. The suspect was also killed, and the attack took place as people gathered at an Orthodox synagogue in a suburban neighborhood of Manchester. Police did say that the 2 people killed were Jewish. Fox's Greg Palcott has everything we need to know.
Individual committed a terrorist attack that attacked Jews because they are Jews.
A deadly attack outside of a UK synagogue, now considered terrorism. It happened Thursday morning in northern England as the Jewish community marked Yom Kippur. Police say a man drove a car into a group of people and then began stabbing them shortly after services were expected to begin. Multiple people were killed and several others injured.
The driver of the car was seen then to attack people with a knife. He was wearing about his body a vest which had the appearance of an explosive device.
Officers responded within minutes and fatally shot the suspect. They also arrested 2 others in connection with the incident, but did not reveal how they may have been involved. Police praising worshipers and security staff who prevented the suspect from gaining access to the synagogue.
All those inside were safely contained until police were able to confirm that it was safe to leave the premises.
The attack follows a rise in anti-Semitic incidents across the UK. More than 1,500 were reported in just the first half of this year.
It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary because, today it's the Jews, tomorrow it's the,
As a precaution, UK officials say they are deploying more police assets to synagogues across the country. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Keir Starmer, United Kingdom's Prime Minister, saying this was a vile terrorist attack that attacked Jews because they are Jews. Anti-Semitism is a hatred that is rising once again. Britain must defeat it once again. To every Jewish person in this country, I promise that I will do everything in my power to guarantee you the security that you deserve. Hal Kempfer, still standing by. He is our expert. We always go to him when we see terrorist attacks around the globe. Not a lot is known about the suspect at this point, Hal, correct?
Austin, not much is known. He's a 35-year-old. He's British, but he's of Syrian descent. He came over to Britain, I think, around 2006 as a minor, and he's lived in Britain most of his life. His name is Jihad al-Shami, and there's nothing. They're saying that they can't find anything in any of the databases which would indicate terrorism or criminal history or anything like that. So he kind of came from from somewhere unexpected, I guess you might say. One thing I would say is that they also arrested 2 men and an older woman as somehow associated with them, maybe supporters, had been collaborators with them. And that may have been why they were so quick to say that this is terrorism, because it started meeting all the critical components of a terrorist attack. Of course, the target being one, going after a synagogue, a Jewish facility, someplace that would be normally associated with, certain ideological motives for terrorism, anti-Semitism underlying it all, but also a number of other groups, for example, ISIS and others that might, and certainly Hamas would definitely attack such a facility. So there's that, but there's obviously enough there that they say that this had some sort of ideological motive. This wasn't somebody who was deranged or suffering from mental illness or something like that. And we've seen that with domestic attacks here in the U.S. where individuals are they're not so much ideologically motivated as suffering from mental illness. We'll find out more about this perpetrator. He may have had some mental illness. We don't know. But for right now, they're treating it as terrorism with the components of its, obviously ideologically motivated to some degree.
Do incidents like this serve as a reminder for everyone around the world to remain vigilant?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you can take what just happened in Britain and apply it everywhere here in the U.S. One thing I would say that in the U.S., there's a variety of things. There's a thing called Secure Communities Network, SCN, which works with Jewish facilities across the country. And they maintain a high alert level information sharing. They work on threat assessments and a variety of things, training to make sure that things like Jewish community centers, Jewish federations, synagogues, temples, that they kind of lean forward in what they do. And that sort of thinking kind of paid off. I'm not saying SCN operates in Britain. I don't believe they do. But in this case, what happened is the moment they sensed an attack, the rabbi reportedly went to the doors, secured the doors. And that's one of the things we talk about with with active shooter training and things like that is, blockade, block the doors. And then he immediately started getting those in the synagogue, started moving them and getting them to someplace that would be safer. And it was a smart, fast, decisive move like that that made a lot of difference. And that's why you don't see, really mass casualties. You see 2 people killed, 3 were injured, and frankly, it was a vehicle ramming and knife attack. And I know that sometimes gets lost, but there was no firearms being used in this one. There was no shooting. He rammed his vehicle in, and we've seen vehicle ramming attacks. He's done knife attacks. There's been knife attacks. We've seen knife attacks, extremely brutal knife attacks, terrorist attacks in Great Britain before. And that's what's happening. And then, of course, sometimes we see this as well, is they will have something on them that looks like a explosive device, some sort of improvised explosive device on their body. And that's what they saw here. And then usually what they're doing is they don't really know how to make an explosive. They don't have the components to make an explosive, but they use that to kind of keep law enforcement at bay as long as possible, saying, if you do that, I'll blow myself up or whatever. And in this case, law enforcement quickly assessed the situation and took what I would consider very decisive action and eliminated the threat.
Hal Kempfer is a retired Marine Intelligence Officer, national security analyst, and the host of the Strat podcast. You can listen to Strat anywhere podcasts are available. Good to see you.
All right. Good to see you, Austin.
Thanks. All right. So we've been talking about the idea. Keir Starmer did make some remarks earlier today. We actually have, it's a 3-minute long speech he gave reacting to this tragic situation in Manchester.
Our Jews and attacked Britain because of our values. So many Jewish families first came to this country as a place of refuge, fleeing the greatest evil ever inflicted on a people. And Britain welcomed them. Communities like the one attacked in Manchester provided safety, but also the security that comes from a promise that this is a country that stands up to hatred, and that we don't just provide refuge, we provide a home. For so many Jewish families, that is the story of Britain. But Britain is also a country where Jewish buildings, synagogues, even schools require round-the-clock protection, where dedicated specialist security is necessary because of the daily threat of anti-Semitic hatred. Today's horrific incident shows why. And while this is not a new hate, this is something Jews have always lived with, we must be clear. It is a hatred that is rising once again, and Britain must defeat it once again. On behalf of the nation, I want to offer my condolences to the families and victims affected. I want to thank the Greater Manchester Police, the first responders, and those dedicated security specialists. There is no doubt whatsoever that they have prevented an even greater tragedy, and we thank them for their bravery. But to every Jewish person in this country, I also want to say this. I know how much fear you will be holding inside of you. I really do. And so, on behalf of our country, I express my solidarity, but also my sadness that you still have to live with these fears. Nobody should have to do that. Nobody. And so I promise you that I will do everything in my power to guarantee you the security that you deserve, starting with a more visible police presence protecting your community. I promise you that over the coming days, you will see the other Britain, the Britain of compassion, of decency, of love. And I promise you that this Britain will come together to wrap our arms around your community and show you that Britain is a place where you and your family are safe, secure, and belong. Thank you.
Keir Starmer earlier today. We'll be right back.